Good morning, guys. Some of you may remember that just a few days ago, I went through and I showed you the contents of my refrigerator. And at that time, I told you how I take my ginger and turmeric, which was generally to put it in a smoothie, or if I wasn't having a smoothie, just a few ounces of juice. Well, on last weekend, I told my trainer about some hip pain that I'm experiencing. And I've been doing ginger and turmeric for a long time, but pretty consistently every day since last summer. So he asked me how I was taking in my ginger and turmeric. So I told him exactly what I told you all about how I take it. And at that time, he asked me to try it a different way. Because sometimes when we are combining ingredients, certain compounds may interfere with the way certain things are absorbed. So he asked me to try a different technique. So this morning, I'm going to show you what I've been using for about the past week. And what we have here, he asked me to try honey with ginger and turmeric and a little bit of black pepper. We're using black pepper because it has a compound in it called pepperine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that exactly right, but research studies show that that ingredient helps your body intake the turmeric more, so it makes it more bioavailable. So when you add the black pepper, you actually get more benefit from the turmeric, and that makes perfect sense, which is why makes perfect sense why he asked me to not do it in a smoothie. And if that's the way you've been using it and it works fine for you, but it's not working fine for me anymore because I'm experiencing pain. So we want to try this way to see if I get a greater benefit from it and can get more of the benefit from the ginger and turmeric. So what we're going to do today is it's called, he said, an eighth, half. So we're going to use an eighth of a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a half a teaspoon of ginger, and a little under a tablespoon of honey. You can use less honey than that, but whatever works best for you. So an eighth of a teaspoon of black peppers are going to be about 15 turns. That's 15. It's not very much black pepper, as you can see. And I like to, actually I'm going to need a little bit more because that's not quite enough. And that's important because to measure it from time to time, because I started measuring it out exactly when I first started doing this. But I'm a baker. Well, I used to be a baker. I don't bake that much anymore. You can learn to eyeball it and just, throw it in like your grandma, a handful of flour, a handful of whatever the ingredient is, but over time you'll start using less. In just a week's time, I've started using less than what an actual eighth is. So we're going to do a few more turns so that we can get up to an eighth of a teaspoon. And that's 7. I added 7 more to it. And that's actually closer to an eighth of a teaspoon. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of ginger and a half a teaspoon of turmeric. And all of these ingredients came from Sprouts, just a store brand, nothing fancy. And I don't know if Sprouts is in your area or not, but Sprouts is the equivalent to a Whole Foods or an Earth Fare. I actually prefer Sprouts. We have all of those in the area that I'm in, but Sprouts is a little less expensive than Whole Foods. So, and it's closer to me, so it's a given that I'm going to go there. So we're going to use about a half a teaspoon of turmeric and a half a teaspoon of ginger. With our locally sourced honey. When I get honey, I don't really care for honey a whole lot. It makes my tummy hurt, so I use it when I'm having tea occasionally, but most of the time I use agave. But you want to use locally sourced honey because the bees travel from local flowers and trees to pollinate them, and those compounds are in the honey, and it will help you during allergy season because your body has built up an immunity to your allergens. So we're going to use a little bit less than a tablespoon of honey. And honey is always one of those things that you just love to measure because it tends to get all over everything. And plus, I'm not a cook, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I know how to cook, I can cook with the best of the Southern cookers, but I stopped cooking years ago when I was in so much pain. And I've come to learn now that there are a whole lot of other things that I would rather do than cook. And, you know, if cooking is your passion and you're a friend of mine, great, because that means that I can come to your house and eat. I'm just getting all of that out, or as much as possible. You don't have to get it all, but I don't like to waste stuff, honestly. And I don't like to make a mess. Just mix it all up. And you're probably wondering, like, black pepper, what is that going to taste like in ginger and turmeric? Well, it tastes like pepper, honestly. But it was one of those things you have to make a decision about. Sometimes some of the things that are going to be best for us nutritionally may not be the most appealing to us. Now, I'm not talking about go eat something that you completely hate. I don't like Brussels sprouts. You cannot pay me to eat a Brussels sprout. I've had them roasted, sauteed, and in a number of dishes, and I don't like them. So I don't eat them. But I like most other vegetables. But when it comes to some things that are just really beneficial to my health and alleviating my pain, I've come to learn that I'm going to have to suck it up and take it in. So the perfect example of that is when I first learned about maca powder. I'm experiencing early menopause, and with that I was experiencing frequent and quite severe hot flashes. I talked to my holistic health practitioner, and she told me to try maca powder. Well, several people in the room spoke up and said, ugh, maca powder is not good. And I was like, guys, don't do that because you're already turning me against it. But in the store, when I found it, I looked at it on the shelf, and I'm like, if you're going to help me, I'm going to take it regardless of whether I like it or not. And guess what? I don't like maca powder, but I put it in my smoothies. And I have it in other things so that it can mask the taste of it just a little bit, and so that I can get the benefit of it. And guess what? I'm not having hot flashes at all anymore. So the benefit of the maca powder outweigh the temporary few seconds that it takes for me to drink it. So the same thing can be true of this mixture. It tastes like ginger and turmeric. It tastes, you know, has an Indian flair to it with the spice of black pepper. And as you can see, it's not very much. It has the consistency of honey. And I just gather it all up. That was cute. And I try to get it all. So it's going to be a little bit over a teaspoon. Not something, excuse me, that I'm going to write home about, oh, you got to try this. This is delicious. But not anything that's so bad and horrific that I can't do it. And if you find that you can't tolerate the black pepper, because, yeah, 1/8 of a teaspoon, that's a lot of pepper, and I can taste it now. Follow it up with a sip of coffee or a sip of hot tea, something so that you can get the benefit of it. So I've been doing this every day, morning and night for the last week. And guess what? I didn't start using my prescription pain medication. I don't do narcotics. I have a prescription for, I think it's Mobic. And I used it periodically in the fall when I would have pain that was a little bit more than just uncomfortable. So I haven't used it since I started doing this. So apparently it's working, and I'm going to continue to use this because I've discovered that it works better than just putting it in a smoothie or something of that nature. And then I have the added benefit of the honey. And to top it off, I guess it could be the ginger that's in the compound, or the fact that there are other ingredients in it. It's not giving me a tummy ache. So this is some way I can have honey, get the benefits for the allergies in spring, because I'm one of those lucky people. I have allergies year round. And get the benefits from all the ingredients in one. So guys, this is how I have my ginger and turmeric. Let me know what you think about it. Put it in the comments. If you've just had no total knee replacement, this is an excellent combination to incorporate into your routine, because you're going to have a lot of swelling. Swelling produces more pain, but this can significantly help reduce the pain and swelling that you're having after total knee replacement. We've talked about it over and over again. You're going to have some pain. But if you can do some things along the way proactively to help reduce your pain and reduce the use of narcotic medication, then it benefits you more in the end. So guys, I hope you have a great day. I'm actually taking today off. I'm going to go do some self-care for Kimberly, having a massage. I'm going to get a pedicure. And I'm going to lay on the couch and watch a movie, which is something I very rarely ever do. I don't even have cable anymore. I watch so little TV. But have a great day, and I'll talk.